is Ivan. I'm from Indonesia and I'm a GIC intern. I'll be the host for the Q&A session today. So if you have any questions to our lovely Noelle here, please raise your hand and one of our volunteers will come to you and hand out a question paper and you can write your question there. I would like to receive some questions. One of them is, what is the difference between the US adolescents and Korean adolescents? Like you mentioned that you already know that.
Yeah. So, I was fascinated on this difference because actually these secrets really surprised me. In America, I have not done this, but I think there would be more secrets about alcohol, drugs, violence, sex, family relationships. I don't think grades in school would be a really big chunk of that. I really don't. Again, I haven't done it, so I should to say this, but I think the secrets that I got reflect a very particular Korean society. Right? Not just teenagers around the world feel like this. I think particularly Korean teenagers feel this way.
So after listening to their stories, what did you say in front of them?
Yeah, so this was hard. I got all their secrets and I wanted to post on the board in my school, but I asked my vice principal, and the poster board, it was empty before, but then they put test preparation information on it, so I couldn't use the space, which I thought was a very ironic thing to happen, that test preparation took the place of secrets, right? Because test preparation is more important. So I kept them, and I told my students that I read them, and I heard them. And if they wanted to meet with me, they could. But no one did. So there's no time.
Still secret.
Yeah, they're still secret, yes.
How about other Asian girls' attitude?
Towards other Asians, like not Koreans?
Not Korean.
I don't know. I haven't taught in other Asian countries, so I can't really say. Sorry. It's okay to say I don't know. I'm not a failure. I don't know.
Did you see any changes from your students after this project?
Yeah. I got closer to them. They were closer to me. And they were happier. They felt relief for a short time. But then the regular stress came back.
Korean students think that emotional illness make each others more depressed, so they don't want to go for counseling. How can we make consulting more positive?
Yeah, it's a big question. How do you change people's ideas about illness? I think any societal change begins with bravery and courage. So I think we need to teach each other to be brave and do something that makes other people uncomfortable. But I think putting counselors in each school is a good step because it shows that their job is meaningful. So at least it will be available to them. If many people at the beginning don't come, maybe after time people will become accustomed to them being in school and they'll visit them. But I think family, in this case, family, community, and friends is a big influence. If you tell your child it's okay, and you yourself, maybe you go, and your child will feel comfortable going to. It's just I guess.
Yeah, we also have in Australia what we call "Are you okay day?" So that's whenever you meet a stranger, you ask them, "Are you okay?" Shake hand and hug them sometimes.
Aww.
That's what I had a hug, and that time unfortunately I was stressed as well. It was really helpful. So maybe
because someone asked you, and
someone
you
asked
could
me.
honestly say.
Actually I said I'm okay.
But you weren't.
I wasn't, but I received a hug, which was really nice, and it really helped my relieve my stress. So maybe that's another idea for you.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Such a small thing.
Small thing.
With a big consequence.
Yeah.
And a big effect.
Yep, true.
Oh, great.
And then more questions.
Yeah.
Did you have stress when you were young? If so, how did you overcome it?
Yes.
A little bit privacy.
I did have stress when I was young. It was a different kind of stress. How did I overcome it? I wish I would have gone to a counselor. I wish I would have asked for help. Because it's been a really long road to recovery. If I had asked for help when I was younger, I think I would have been happier sooner. And so I wish I had access to a counselor in high school, for example. And I wish I was brave enough to ask for help. And I was lucky to have wonderful siblings and friends, but I still was carrying the burden alone. So, yeah, I didn't manage it well, and I wish I had.
What advice do you have for Korean teachers, Korean students, girls, and parents?
Korean teachers. I think Korean teachers have a really tough job because they're in a very difficult position. Their expectations are to train students vigorously, but at the same time, they spend so much time with their students. Of course, they develop relationships with them. It's a lot of pressure for them, too. There are some things... It's the little things, I think. Telling someone it's okay. Reassuring them that they're not a failure in their life because they didn't perform well at this moment is really important. The second one was...
advice for the students.
Students! Ooh, yes. Advice for students. It's okay to be happy. And it's okay to ask to change your life, to ask your parents, to talk to them about being unhappy. At least you can tell them how you feel, and maybe they won't agree with you. But at least sharing your feeling is the first step. You cannot keep it alone because it's unhealthy, yeah? So it's okay to be happy.
How about parents? Advice for parents?
Being a parent is the toughest job in the world, I think. Again, I think that giving your kids breaks is really important. And investing time now, valuing your time now and happiness now is just as important as preparing someone for the future. That would be my advice. But I'm not a parent, and I'm not a Korean parent, so that's just my opinion.
Getting into university is very important for Korean students. I wonder what Americans would think about getting into good universities.
Yeah, So it is important for American students. Some of these pressures are similar in America. It depends on where you are, right? If you go to a high school where everyone in the community works for the government, or everyone in the community is a scientist, you feel pressure to perform really high to go to Harvard or Princeton or Yale, right? But in America there are options, not just Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. There are many, many more options available. And it's okay to take those options. Even if people are disappointed at the beginning, in the end, it's worth it for your emotional well-being, I think.
Tell us about your parents' teach you when you were in the need to talk.
Actually, I didn't talk to my parents.
No?
Yeah. I talked to my friends more than any. Yeah. But even then, not much. Again, it was my mistake, I think.
Obsessing over the future might be an Asian, it's an Asian thing, maybe, that it might be genetics.
Genetics.
Do you think saving face might be why there is a lot of stress over grades, body images, and what their parents think and stuff like that?
Saving face is such a complicated issue. I think preparing for the future is especially strong in Korea because of Korea's history. Because of the history of the last 50 years in Korea. This huge countrywide effort to develop and to have progress. Right? It's this feeling of constantly getting better at something, right? The country is getting better. This is feeling, and this is very particular to Korean history, right? And this place, this time. So, whereas saving face may be part of Korean culture, I think it's more important to look at this issue thinking about what the Korean history is in the last 50 years. And how people think about what is good, what we should do, what is possible.
Another question about you. What secrets did you and your peers have when you were in high school days?
Yeah. Let's see. So many, right? So many secrets. I think one of my major secrets when I was a high school student was that I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of my future as well, but I was afraid of my future because I didn't want to fail. Right? So I think that was a major secret for me. I think other secrets in my school, not just my friends, but overall in my school, were like, so the range was really big. So I think there were definitely drugs and alcohol and sex and parties and stealing, and I'm sure those were secrets, but I think there are also very personal, emotional secrets too about bad relationships with your family members, or maybe illness, or some sort of violence in your life. I think those would have been also in the project.
Last question. In your presentation, you mentioned that Korean students think education system is the main problem. Do you agree on this? And then what do you think about Korean education system compared to Americans?
They think the Korean education system is the main problem. I don't think it's the main problem. I think it's a symptom. I think it's a symptom of the main problem, which is this obsession with development, this obsession with progress, and this obsession with reducing risk, right? This investment in the future by investing time and effort now. I think the major problem is Korean ideology and how they think about the future and progress. But then again, I'm not Korean, so afterwards you can tell me that I'm totally wrong and I'll be all ears. Yeah.
Actually, I have some more questions.
Oh, great. I'm sorry to keep you. You probably want to go get a coffee or something, right?
So, in Korea, competition is too high. Friends are not partners, only rivals, as you mentioned. So relation is most of the time not good. In your opinion, how did you overcome your bad relationship?
Mine, or how would I in Korea?
Yours.
Well, America isn't as competitive. One thing that shocked me when I came to Korea was that when people take tests, their scores are posted publicly. So everyone can read everyone's score. This was shocking to me because I think that in itself is a very good example of how there are little things every day where students feel in competition with each other. In America, you never knew other people's score. They kept it secret, right? You have a number, or they just give it to you privately. So you never knew how other people did on of course you asked, what did you get on your exam, right? But officially, it wasn't on the wall. So I think that actually in Korea, changing things like that would be really helpful and would go a long way.
Now we're talking about parents. How can parents be happy when they know that they need to talk to their children in need, but they feel lonely because their children don't want to share with their parents?
I think around the world, parents have this difficulty. They want to share with their child, they want their child to share with them. But at this age, when children are becoming adults, in between child and adult, right? It's this middle age. The child is becoming their own person, and the relationship becomes distant. Again, I think that, in my opinion, the best way to address this issue would be to lead by example. To share your vulnerability, your emotions with your child. And to model emotional health to them so they feel comfortable modeling it back to you. That would be my suggestion.
Right, thank you for answering the questions. Now I'll return the floor to our host.
Thank you so much, Noelle. As an appreciation for the nice stuff, there is something for you. And you'll be represented by Dr. Shin Kyung-gu.
In fact, we all know Noelle a lot as well. You already gave talks before. So,
I talk a lot.
Yeah. And then wonderful talks.
Because of pictures, I think. Yeah.
Then information you have
okay.
as well. But which information you shared with us? Why don't you ask? You got many questions, but at the beginning you wanted to get some research topics from the audience.
Yes. This is my favorite part. I love hearing from Koreans. So, can you think of any research topics nowadays that are really something that you wish you knew more about, or you think is an urgent issue that needs to be researched? Yeah.
I've heard that Korean students are too passive.
Ah.
So I think that's quite an issue sometimes, especially when they go outside. The world demands you to be proactive. But if the education system here seems to be like very passive, I think that might be a good research topic for me. How bad has being passive here?
Like consequences, elsewhere.
Yeah. Because now Korea is like going global.
Yeah.
So how can Korean be global as well in their country. They taught their students to be passive.
Oh, great.
I think Professor Weber has many examples on your own of passiveness of Korean students.
I do actually, because I taught 2 classes on education policy to Koreans.
Oh, great.
One at Ewha, Women's University. But I also like his question. I guess what I get from the Korean students that I taught, what makes me most curious is what is the trade-off of things, even about passage. I know what you mean. A Chinese student always asks questions, but I think Koreans may understand better. So I'm slow to think that, I mean, we always say there should be more involved. So.
There's also an aspect of like bearing the responsibility alone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bearing the burden alone.
Yeah.
That's very Korean,
Well,
I think.
Yeah, and we just talked about this in my class the other day. If a Korean does poorly on an exam, they say it's my fault. In America, your friends say it's the professor. It's a bad test. So that's not good for America either.
Yeah, right.
So there's a trade-off.
Yeah, there's something very culturally specific about Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Yes.
How about the research about parents? Parents is secret. Others is secret.
Yes. Parents, I would love to talk to parents. I'm a little afraid. But I think I'm afraid because I eventually want to become a parent, but I'm afraid it will be very difficult. So sometimes I don't want to talk to them, so I will be ignorant about how difficult it will be. But I think that's a really wonderful suggestion because there's definitely many aspects to a person's life, not just their own experience, but their family experience, their community experience, their national experience. Yeah, great.
So, Noelle gave an answer to be a good parent as a model, showing the vulnerability of the parents themselves as well. So, I have just one tip as well. I took the side of my son. So, so when he complained, I complained together with him. So while working on his homework some long time ago, he is quite old now, but when he was a student, junior high school student, he complained copying so many Chinese characters 10 or 20 times, so many times. So I advised him to use 2 pencils together. Then he was very happy. Then I came back to see what he was doing. He was using 3 pencils. Then I asked him, why don't you use 2 pencils? My hand is too small. So feeling together frequently makes the children reveal, or rather share their complaint or secrets with parents as well. So I did not scold him for being lazy. So 20 times is not much. You should do twice as much. Something like that, then they would feel antagonistic to the parents. But being together in feeling, let them feel quite comfortable with their parents. Maybe even with their teachers as well. So not for bad things, but something good, like copying one character 20 or 30 times is killing the spirit of the children. So I thought it was unethical as a teacher myself. So I gave him some good tips. So some examples like that disarmed the heart of my son to me. So he quite frequently shared his secrets with me.
And actually, that reminds me, you talk about the teacher being vulnerable as well. I feel as an English teacher, I'm very vulnerable with my students because my Korean is so bad. When I first came to Korea, it was so scary, right? Because I had so many students, And so one thing that you have to do as a teacher is show them that you make mistakes. And it's okay. Actually, I showed them a postcard when I did this example with them, and I said, this is my secret. And the postcard I made was a picture of the Seoul subway, and then a stick figure, and the face was an American flag. And I said, my secret was, I am not just a foreigner, I am a person. And so my secret was showing them that I felt alone because people looked at me like a foreigner before they thought of me as a person. And so this, I think, helps them communicate with me their secrets too. So wonderful suggestion.
Make mistakes together.
Yeah, make mistakes together. Show them that you feel sad, lonely, vulnerable also. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How long have you been Korean?
I lived in Korea for 3.5 years. Then I went back to the US. And now I'm back every summer. And then next year I'll come back for a long time.
So we are looking forward to another talk.
Oh, yes.
Next time.
Yeah.
Then I think it's already 4:05.
Oh, no,
I think
okay.
I can.
Yeah.
Now
We can finish.
Yeah.
We can finish, yeah.
Letter of appreciation. Then we would like to thank you for your outstanding support to foreign citizens as guest speaker at the GIC Talk on July 3rd with the topic Secrets of Adolescent Girls. And then you will say so.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I will be here after the talk, so bring your suggestions. I would much appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Shin.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you again for the interesting talk, Noelle. I really expect to see you again here with the new topics. And I hope you've got something from this talk. If you have been in trouble with your daughter or niece or any tutor. And are you in a hurry? I hope you aren't, because I won't let you go home yet. 3 things to notice still left. On the next GIC Talk, Jose Maradian, PhD student in computer engineering from the Notre Dame University, will give us a talk titled Iran, a brief overview. If you are interested in history, art, and culture regarding to Iran, please come by 3 p.m. next Saturday. And the Jalan Speakers and Leaders Club will meet at its regular time of 4:30 p.m. Do not hesitate to join if you want to. It is welcome to everyone who is interested. So if you would like to join us, if you would like to participate, please stay here. Lastly, we are looking for more foreign volunteers who can help for GIC Talk. If you're willing to help, or if you know someone who wants to join us, please let us know by sending an email to gic@gic.org.kr. Thanks for your attention so far. Have a nice weekend.